Hey Tiff, you better include this in the video, but I'm just gonna say shiny a bunch of times. So shiny, 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 shiny. Peace. Post-credit scene, bitches. Hello everyone, welcome to a video. I am KHACKIMICROBE, aka Kevin, aka Hot Wheels, aka KHACKIMICROBE. I am a member of the Shattered Web.
Wow, nobody would have ever known that. You said it. It's not as if we did a massive reveal photo post on Instagram. It's not as if you've been in the videos for the past year. You had to explicitly say it.
There's people that may not know who I am.
90% of our videos have 10 times more views and subscribers that we actually have.
Yay.
And it feels weird to say, to be honest, especially without the others here. Like, I've recorded Shattered Web content with the rest of the group, but, you know, it's just me.
It's also the voices.
I'm lonely. Ever so lonely. All on my own. So, I have got two suits here to review, because I am picky and can't just have one. Now, the reason why I've got two is because of a couple of reasons. And I won't be going too much in depth about my experience with getting the suits, because I feel like that's going to kind of affect my... I feel like that's going to kind of affect my ranking of the suits. So I'm just going to be reviewing them as suits, because getting into the issues that I had when ordering them is, you know, its own thing. Now, when designing a suit, my process was I wanted the concept art of the spider sewn first. So I went to Tiff, actually, who's probably editing this video. So I've got to make sure that I say shiny quite a lot. I forgot to do that at the intro. I was meant to shine the world with my shiny lights. Yes. So, when designing the concept art for the Spider Solar, me and Tiff had a conversation about things that I wanted in the design. So some things were, I really like the colour scheme of red and black from Deadpool and the Far From Home suit. That was something that I already knew, as well as Miles Morales. Speaking of Miles Morales, I really liked the way that the logo kind of went up and across the shoulders, and connected to the back and the front. That was something that I really enjoyed about the designs, especially from the games. Now, other things that we discussed were little personal touches and references. So some things were hints at my disability. So in the concept art for the spider sonar, if there's a picture of it here, you can kind of see on the logo there's the two different colours for the legs. That was because, obviously, I'm a wheelchair user. If you haven't seen me in other videos, I make cripple jokes all the time. Probably too many at this point. But that was something that we wanted. As well as in the suit design, where the black... What did he say? ...cuts to the red on like the torso here, is where my disability technically starts. Things don't start getting fuggy until the legs, but this is the level of my injury, which is roughly where the cut sits from the red to the black on the suit. Now, one thing that you'll see on this suit is the legs. Now, this is because when I was getting the suit made, they couldn't double colour screen print, so the black either had to be red or black, and I feel like black still being there, but kind of harder to see, still kind of gets the effect across of haha cripple without it taking away any of the design. So I really liked that that concept. And as well is with the screen printing, you can kind of get a bit of a different shine on the suit. That was an intentional tiff. I didn't do that on purpose, I promise. But you can kind of see the light reflects slightly differently and catches slightly differently. I've got pretty good lighting, but especially in photo shoots where we're doing light photography. So when we were together in January taking pictures in our suits, you can see it a lot there with the light reflecting from the logo and on the back. It's just a slightly different vibe, slightly different feel, and that's
What did he say?
That's something that I really enjoyed about getting the different textures. Now, this suit itself, I thought this was amazing. I absolutely loved it. This is the version 1 of my Spider Sonar. It's very good suit, very good design. You can kind of see some like scuff marks. That's because I've been wearing it. That's because I'm a dumbass and can't walk properly. It's because when I do walk, I don't do it often, but when I do it badly. So yeah, ignoring any little scuff marks that you see on the suit, because they are purely my own fault. Like, it's just going to happen. But you can kind of see some of the details that we've got going on. So the triangle texture, I don't know how well you can see that, but the triangle texture is from Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy's spider suit, the Ghost Spider, or Spider Gwen, or whatever you want to call it. And that was another personal touch to me being a femboy. Don't tell my family. And one thing that you may notice with this suit is the arms. Now, I had a bit of an issue when ordering this. I know I said I wouldn't go too much in depth about problems that I had ordering the suit, but this is quite a funny thing, and kind of explains some of the choices for the arm. Now, when I ordered the suit, I was going to get leather highlights on the suit, and you may have seen there is none across the entire suit. That was because when I was speaking to Print Costume, I wanted leather on the palms, as well as some other touches like on the shoulders and possibly on the thighs. So when I was discussing with them about wanting leather on the hands, they kind of said to me that they could do other options. So what we agreed on was I would, for context as well, the suit was going to have attached gloves with a zip on the wrist, which is why I wanted the leather, so I could still have that extra protection, that extra grip, without having to risk breaking the suit completely. But they said that they could give me 2 pairs of detached gloves, which could be used interchangeably. So I could wear these gloves, you know, to kind of get ruined, get a bit torn, get a bit muddy from using the wheelchair. And then I'd have a second pair of gloves that I could use to kind of keep pristine, keep for pictures, keep for posing, keep for interactions where I'm not going to be using my chair that much. However, when I got the suit, it came with built-in gloves, as well as 2 pairs of detached gloves. So I wasn't comfortable with my sewing at the time. I could do holes. I could do the holes. I could repair holes and small tears in suits, but I wasn't comfortable about making entirely new seams. So I spoke to Print Costume, and that was when we agreed on making a second version of the suit, which is here. But also the time that the suit was designed, we designed it quite a while before, like the pattern for the suit was designed quite a while before me actually getting the chance to go and order the suit. So the pattern is slightly older, and when we were remaking the suit, I spoke to Mark, who designed the pattern, to get an updated version. which again we'll be speaking about this a little bit later on. Now, again, back to this version 1 suit. Because I ended up with a second version, I did feel comfortable at least attempting to make my own stitches, make my own cuts, and make the suit have detached gloves. So the sewing at the tip here, at the top, around the wrists, is done by me. So when it does eventually break, that is purely on me. But yeah, going back to the design of the suit, something that I do really like is these thigh webs. I don't know how you can see that. You can tell I've not done many of these suit reviews because I kind of struggle. But the webbing that kind of comes along here in the red and then kind of frays out towards the bottom was a design choice that I really enjoyed, and it wasn't something that I put too much thought into until I saw it in person. It was a suit detail that I liked, but it wasn't something that I was like fully set on until again I saw it in person, put the suit on, and just felt amazing. Now the mask was something else that was kind of discussed about. I ordered a second version of the mask as well because I wanted this version, and if I put it on now you can kind of see what it looks like. I very rarely use face shells, so I didn't get one with the suit, and you can kind of see it obviously gets the slight crease in the nose, but otherwise my face shape is usually pretty decent. But this time it wasn't. It was slightly off. I do have this little crease in between, which does sometimes get a bit annoying when taking pictures, but again that's because I'm not using a face shell. So I've got this mask, and it's got the Far From Home or Homecoming or like tech suit lenses, where it's got the moving eyes, but these don't move. And generally I'm pretty happy with them. With the mask, it's not terrible. It's the pattern itself looks good. There's slight texture that I'm not sure you can pick up on camera, as well as obviously the web lines. But the mask itself wasn't something that I was too happy with when I got it in person. And something that you may have seen on the concept art and this suit is this mask is obviously using very different lenses to what was on the concept. Now that's because I ordered the second mask planning on adding new lenses. And the reason why I don't have another pair of lenses on this mask is because I messed up when adding the other lenses on. Because it was my first time trying to glue lenses onto a mask, everything went wrong. Glue was dripping everywhere. It turned into a crusty...
What did he say?
...thing. So I now use that spare mask that I ordered with the alternate lenses, which were TASM 2 lenses rather than TASM 1 lenses, because again, I was very inconsistent with what I wanted for my lenses, because again, the concept of TASM lenses, TASM 1 lenses, is really cool to me. I really like the design for them, but when it came to putting them on my spider sewn, they just didn't quite feel right. So going with the white lenses was a choice that I made eventually. And again, when we speak about the version 2, you'll kind of see some differences with the lenses. So yeah, when I was making the other mask for the version 1, I used TASM 2 lenses, but everything went wrong, so I used that mask for my homemade suit because it looks homemade. It looks like a thing. So that is the version 1. It's a good suit. I hope that there's been pictures of it shown from photo shoots and stuff, because it is a really nice suit. However, as you guys have heard me mention a couple of times, there's a version 2. And the version 2 is undeniably so much better. At least in my opinion. Because when you hold them up next to each other, when you hold them up next to each other, you can see so many differences when it comes to the pattern. Now, again, this was a slightly older pattern, the version 1, even by the time that I got it ordered. So when I was getting the remake, it was a freshly made pattern. And you can see the evolution of what's happened with Mark's designing process, because this gets me sexually charged, okay?
What did he say?
With the pattern itself, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's got this almost like chain link texture, because I want my suit to be a little bit armoured almost. And we went with the Man of Steel Superman textures for my red sections. I've always really liked the details for that suit, so when we were getting it made, it was the Man of Steel with some dots underneath. Again, I don't know how you can see them, but they are there. And when they show up in person, they are incredible. And because it was a remake, they did end up giving me the correct detached gloves with the 2 pairs of gloves, which, by the way, I forgot to mention about the old gloves, is this is what they look like. Nothing insane, you know, they're just gloves, but they are really nice looking gloves. And one thing that I do really like is the black.
What did he say?
Where it matches up from there and kind of comes up around my hand. That was a detail that I really liked, and I'm really happy was included in the design. But again, before I sidetrack myself again, that is enough talking about the version 1. Version 2, you can see that the red obviously has a lot nicer of a texture, and the web lines are a little bit more prominent. I suppose I say they're more prominent. With the version 1, that's the only real detail that you can see on camera. In person, there is a fine texture that you can kind of make out, but again, it's very hard to capture. But on this, the web lines are a lot easier to notice, especially with the added textures going on. And you can see that they added leather. They've added leather, which goes from the screen printed logo, which again, I am in love with. Comes all the way around to the back. And you can see the back logo. Now, Mark, in between the design process of this suit and the other suit, you can see this suit logo is slightly different, where the red is just the logo and there's no like secondary logo underneath. But with this one, you can see that there's the main screen printed red logo, and then there's black kind of highlighting it. That was a design that I got from Mark's Spider Sewn, which I saw in person at Comic-Con, and I loved it. It was chef's kiss. I really enjoyed that little detail of having the logo pop that little bit more because it's on a secondary logo. Without a better way of describing it, Tiff or Mark, interrupt me if you have a better name for it. So yeah, the like shadow logo is a detail that I really liked. So I asked for it to be added, and the way that it connects to the leather as well really pops. And this is why I love this suit so much, because the way the leather works, the way that it kind of cups around under my arm and kind of cups my bicep, is just, it makes everything pop, and I really enjoy that detail. And Tiff, don't punch me, there's a really nice shine on the leather. The leather is really shiny, and you can get a lot of extra oomph when you start factoring in the lack of shininess of the spandex with the slightly more reflectiveness of the screen printing, and then the shininess, like the shine of the leather. I can't keep a straight face while saying this anymore, because I can imagine Tiff is so angry at me right now, and I'm slightly proud of myself. Going back to the logo, going back to the suit, you can see that there's obviously the leather section here, and then this slightly grey section here. This kind of looks like a mesh or a vending, which I really like. Again, the texture work on this suit is incredible, and it's very hard to show you a suit when you're short and sat down. But the red highlights here coming down into the webs with the black section coming across there, I really enjoy. There's so many details on this suit that I just really enjoy. There's no like, it's a really nice design. It's a really incredible suit, in my opinion. And it just brings me so much joy. So whenever I say, oh, it's detail, I really enjoy it, it's because this suit just brings me so much joy. It's like, I sometimes just like to look at the suit, just kind of, without wearing it, just go over and look at all the patterns and the details, which just kind of goes to show how good the work has been to make this design. And then again, kind of coming down to the legs, we got a stripe coming up and round from the back, which is very hard to again show you guys, but we have got a red racing stripe going down the suit into the legs, which is again something from the Tasman suit that I really liked about the design. As we kind of mentioned about the stripe coming down along the legs, the feet are something that you may notice don't have any soles. The suit is just sock. It's all one thing coming up into the main body. Now that's because when I walk terribly. I already mentioned it, I've got the scuffs and stuff on the other suit, but the reason why I ended up with no socks on, or with no shoes on the suit, is because I like detached shoes. Being able to wear beach shoes over the top and just swap them out when they get torn, because when I walk I kind of scuff along the floor and they end up torn, and I didn't want that happening to the fabric of the suit, because obviously when you've got the sole attached onto the shoe and you're scraping the top, it's just directly doing it to the suit, and it kind of ends up with a really awkward effect where I'd have to keep on sewing it back together, and even then it wouldn't stay together for forever. It would end up just giving out. Again, that's not on any suit designs, that's not on any manufacturers, that's just on me being terrible at walking. So being able to, when a shoe does eventually give out, you know, the top of the shoe eventually gives out and you can start seeing the undersuit, being able to just replace the shoe is so much better. I think I spend on average about 20 quid on a pair of shoes, and that lasts me easily a year. I've only ever replaced one pair of shoes, because even when they do get a bit torn, they're usually fine. Either sew them up a little bit or, you know, kind of make them last, because I would go with like regular shoes, which are a lot more durable, but then you do run the risk of taking away from the suit rather than it just not looking quite as nice. It's a very hard thing to kind of articulate into words. I'm trying to... The reason why I wear the detached shoes is because I don't want the suit to get ruined. But in doing so, I kind of take away a little bit of how the suit looks. But at the same time, I don't really mind the as long as the colours kind of match. That's the main thing that I enjoy about wearing the detached shoes, is if the colours match enough, then I can swap them out when they need to be replaced, and that be that, rather than having to order an entirely new suit because the sole's completely fallen off. As well as that, I can take the shoes off while I'm still in the suit without it being a problem. I've never needed to do that, I've never wanted to do that, but it's an option that I have. Now, gloves, again, very similar to the old ones, except now they've got these padded looking details on the inside of the palm, which would be where the leather would have gone on the old design. But again, they couldn't do that, so got the detached gloves, which looks very nice. And I may look into doing the leather myself, because I think that would be quite cool to have that little extra detail there. I will be having some web shooters printed out for me, which are going to be the Insomniac Spider-Man web shooters. They are being printed out by Spider Santos or Igor. So yeah, big fan of the gloves. There's not too much to talk about with gloves. They do their job. They look good. They're usually pretty seamless. Lining them up, obviously the web lines and all of the slight little colours. So, you know, we've got this little black section at the top. It's a slight issue to, you know, make sure that everything's lined up. But even in pictures, it's very hard to tell unless you're specifically looking for it. So I don't actually mind the detached gloves not being attached, because obviously having everything attached, having the mask attached, having everything attached means that everything is always going to line up because it's all one piece. But it does then mean that you don't have the ability to take your gloves off, to take your mask off fully, and it can kind of get a bit awkward, I think, and I prefer that comfort. Now, coming up to the mask, you can see, again, I've got different lenses. These were provided by Print Costume, so were these, but I asked them to be the TASM lenses because, again, I didn't realise I could do that. I didn't realise I could specifically request these lenses when I was ordering the suit. I thought I'd have to get a separate mask and then attach the lenses. But I really like how these lenses work with the entire suit. I think the TASM lenses are, in general, just a really good lens for Spider-Man. They offer really good visibility. You know, everything about them is just really cool. Now, although I have got these lenses and this mask, I've also got a completely unprinted, not unprinted, unlensed mask. You know, you can see here, goes all the way around. There's no lenses. That's because I've already ordered the suit with a detached, separated mask and a spare. So I've got this mask, and when I ordered my web shooters from Igor, aka Spider Santos, I ordered him to also make, or I asked him to also make some lenses, which are going to be the Marvel Rivals lenses. And that's, I think it's just because I really like the lenses for Marvel Rivals. The suit design for that game is really good. Again, I keep on going on these tangents, but the lenses for Marvel Rivals suit, the like angrier, you know, squintier version, as well as the more open version, because they're animated lenses, being able to swap them out is going to be quite fun for pictures. And I'm really interested to see how it's going to work with the rest of the suit. So when that's made, when everything's done, I'll obviously be taking a look at the way that it matches with the suit. I don't really wear face shells, but I feel like with this suit, with those lenses especially, I think face shells are going to be a way to go. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I can't speak too much until I've experienced those lenses with this suit, but I am really looking forward to seeing how that goes. And that is it. That is my suit reviews, my double suit review. Again, I've never really done this before. It's my first time, ew. I've never really done this style of video where I'm reviewing a Spider-Man suit. I don't really know what you guys talk about, Mark and Tiff. So if there's any things that I missed out, feel free to ask a question in the comments. and I can come in and answer it. I'll be checking it on my main account. But I feel like that is going to be it. I feel like I've rambled on long enough about random topics, gotten distracted enough times. Overall, this is good. Version 1 is good. But damn, this is better. Both suits are really good. And I'm still debating what I do with the version 1, whether or not I turn it into a battle damage suit, or if I just keep it as like a in my universe, in my sort of story. This is like a pre-made version of the main suit. There's stuff that I'm going to consider for the lore, for the game theory. Thanks for watching. So yeah, like story-wise is something that I've got a lot to think about. There's going to be a lot of stuff for this suit to come, whether or not it is battle damage, whether or not it's keeping it going for as long as I can and then battle damaging it. Whatever happens, this is a very nice suit still. But I will be making sure that I make the most out of both suits. I will be making sure that this suit is debuted at Comic-Con, although I have done photo shoots in this suit already. Thank you everyone for watching. I am a mixture between sleep deprived and very awkward, very unsure of what I'm doing, but I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Maybe. I probably won't. I'll see you in whatever video I next appear in. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Shiny!
No, come on, don't do it! Ah! Why have you got a stick?
I found a magic stick, I'm taking it. My boobs jiggled on each bounce.
Do it jiggle though. Do it jiggle. Yes it do. And the ass rotate.
I was about to say, it didn't just jiggle.